Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Deanna and you're watching Orchid. Last year I released a video called April Orchies and Spike, and it does turn out that April does seem to be the season for spikes. So it's autumn here, the seasons are changing, but now that I've sort of looked carefully, I do actually have quite a few spikes, so I thought we could go on a little tour of my grow spaces. This might actually be one of the last videos this season before winter that I have this balcony set up. I'm gonna have to move these orchids inside fairly soon, I think. Last year I was forced to move everything because we went away for our wedding and our honeymoon. We got married on May the 4th, so it was towards the end of April that I moved everything in, but things were starting to cool down around that time, and I'm not sure when it happened, but our nights have started dropping down to about 17 degrees Celsius again, so this balcony area becomes quite cool. But along with that, you can see it's 3 p.m. and usually around this time we've got sun coming in, and the sun is totally missing the balcony now. It's completely on the other side of the house. So when when my husband gets around to setting up a new set of shelves inside, I'm going to be moving the warmer growers inside from the deck and this balcony. So there's going to be a big reshuffle in the next few weeks. But while this is still set up, I'm going to have a little walk around. I was actually just thinking to myself the other day, with everything going on at the moment, just how lucky Jared and I are that we were able to have our wedding last year, because, you know, we decided to have a Bali international wedding, and yeah, this year, well, everything would have been cancelled. So Shari baby here is obviously taking the spotlight. She is just absolutely gorgeous, completely filling my balcony with a chocolate fragrance. And we had a really windy day the other day, so I had to move some of my plants inside, but this Shari baby got knocked over and the pot actually broke. I'm really lucky because all the spikes have remained intact. We had to move this plant inside into our bedroom for a few days, and the whole bedroom was just smelling like chocolate, but I have moved her outside again now because inside my bedroom we don't get a huge amount of light, so I thought it would be a bit nicer out here. But all the bloom spikes are starting to open up now, and she is just stunning. 6 spikes this year on that one, and we've still got Miltassia Phoenix Rising White Light in bloom, but you can see the blooms are just beginning to fade there now. So we might just travel shelf by shelf because I do actually have quite a bit going on this balcony. Bollara Matthias Glamour here, and I'm not sure if you guys can see, I have a spike, but can you see that it's coming off an old pseudobulb? I actually don't know if I've ever had an oncidium do this before, because it's maturing this new pseudobulb here, and I fully expect this one to flower, but I haven't got any spikes off this one yet. However, this older pseudobulb is growing a spike. Not sure if that's happened to other people or if that's a common thing. It's certainly a first for me. Bollara Peggy Ruth Carpenter. Ooh, can you guys see that? I am pretty sure that is a Dendrobium beetle. They are no good for orchids. I think that's what it is. Oh, I think I'm gonna have to kill it. Unfortunately, these bugs will eat flowers and they like to munch on new dendrobium growths, so I'll have to deal with that. But while we're here, before I have to do something nasty to that little beetle, I've got 2 spikes developing on Bollara Peggy Ruth Carpenter, 2 new spikes. They both appear to have 2 little flowers on them each, and they've started developing on this maturing growth, which is also a little bit strange for this orchid because it usually blooms, as you can see, off mature growths. As we move along, I've got a nice healthy looking spike developing on my Colmonara Wildcat Bloodshot. I was very impressed with the blooms on this one last year. It doesn't even seem like that long ago, but yeah, I had my first blooming last year. Beautiful dark red blooms on that one, so that'll be very nice once it's in bloom again. I told you I've got lots going on. Here's a twinkle with 1, 2, 3 spikes. This is one of the twinkles that I got from Bunnings. I'm not sure if you guys remember. Actually, if you're not Aussie, you might not know what Bunnings is, but it's a hardware store. They just happen to have this massive shelf full of twinkles. Don't think they were labeled, and I can't remember what colors they were, so it'll just have to be a little surprise. We've got this gorgeous girl still in bloom. She had her little feature on the GVOS day the other week. Another spike is opening up here as well. You can see the color difference. So this one is just opening up and you can see it's a coppery sort of color, and then it fades a little bit, and then as it ages it turns nice and yellow. Got my Cycopsis here. So I think the first flower lasted about a month, and it's just working on this bud here, so I'm not sure how long they take to develop. The Cycopsis is all a little bit new and exciting for me. And then down here we've got another one of those twinkles with just the one spike, it seems. Next to it we've got a little Howiara, Chancy, lovely. These flowers are fairly long lasting, and I love the Howiaras because they are so compact. You can see a couple of new growths coming up there, and over here we do have Howiara Lava Burst with a spike here and a second spike coming out there. So these are beautiful red blooms, and it looks like it's going to be a very nice little spike there. Over here we've got Mr. Twinkle. Look at the spikes. This one is putting out, I don't know, I think I've counted at least 16 or so spikes on here. Just spikes everywhere. Each growth has 2 spikes. So it's going to be a nice display. You can see suffered a bit of dehydration over summer, and I had quite a bad scale infestation on this orchid, so it has been cleaned up, but scale is really tricky. You can still see every now and again a little plaque appears. You can see down there as well, so I'm still manually having to clean up that scale when I see it, but I'm trying to be quite gentle because obviously I want it to continue spiking, and so definitely after this one finishes flowering it's going to get a nice repot. And down here, Dendrobium Samurai is one that I've had since it was quite a small plant. You can see the older bulbs. I had it when there was only about 3 canes on it. You can see that it's definitely developed. It's still got a couple canes developing, a new one popping out there. I'm very, very happy to see some spikes. You can see 2 spikes there, and I think 1 just down here. So I can see 3 so far, but I am hoping for a few more to appear. Lots going on this shelf here. We've got some spikes on Chung Fong Smile Cluster. This one is a regular bloomer in my collection, and a couple of these you've already seen the other weekend for the Global Virtual Orchid Show. But this is BLC Empress Worsley Roman Holiday. The second flower open here now as well. She is absolutely beautiful. I think this is what you would call pyloric, but the petals there kind of mimic the lip. She's just stunning. Not fragrant that I can tell, but very, very beautiful in my opinion. And probably one of my favorite blooms is this one. This is Jungle Hotspots crossed with Laelia tenebrosa, and to me it just does not get much better than that. I just love the spotted cattleya with, you know, that heavier sort of substance in its petals and sepals. You know, it's just a little bit glossier, a little bit less, I guess, fluffy, you know, and blousy. Absolutely stunning. I absolutely can't get enough. She's fragrant as well. She has a very, very mild sort of citrusy floral fragrance. It's really, really pleasant. Behind her, honestly, Little Green Apples is just going nuts at the moment. I just keep finding new spikes emerging and emerging. I've got this spike just opening now with 4 blooms on it. Such a cutie. Another spike there. You can see like spikes developing. Can you see in there? And because these blooms just last so long, hopefully I'm going to get to see everything in flower at the same time. It's going to be an amazing show. Back here I've got BLC Pink Diamond. I'm really sorry for the wind, guys. I've been trying to wait for it to stop, but we're just going to have to put up with a bit of wind. But there's definitely something going on in BLC Pink Diamond. You can see actually that's a growth from a couple of months ago. This is the most recent growth and nothing's happening in this sheath. So I actually thought that this one wasn't going to bloom for me anymore, but it's also bringing out a new growth there. You can see it's desperate for a repot, but I think I'll just wait for this to bloom and then we can definitely repot it then. And last one on this shelf is this one. I'll have to get the tag. This is Jungle Gem cross with Aussie Sunset, and just a single bloom. I haven't seen the blooms on this one yet. I did get her from an orchid show, and I imagine she's going to be a spotted cattleya by the look of the leaves. So I think that's it for my little balcony grow space. Let's go downstairs. So whoops, not downstairs yet. I forgot about my main upstairs grow space. This is actually going to be where I keep all my warm growers over winter. So once I do my reshuffling, you'll be seeing a lot of this grow space. I've still got this dendrobium in bloom, just lasting absolutely forever. Isn't she gorgeous in the light there? Maybe not picking up so well on camera. I thought she was going over, but not yet. Still going. And this is a dendrobium I got. I think it was like a single cane when I got her 2 years ago from a show. This is Astanova Snowdrop. These two actually I had to bring in from outside because they kept getting knocked over by the wind, but she's opening up. Let's have a look. Opening up her first bloom, and this is definitely going to be her best display yet. I think I only got like a couple of blooms last year actually. You can see I've got an absolutely gorgeous spike developing, and not just that. What did I find the other day? Another little spike just emerging there as well. And behind it I have a no ID dark magenta dendrobium, which is still developing, which has actually 2 spikes. Nope, hang on. Wow, I just discovered that. So 3 spikes on this one. So that should be an absolutely beautiful display. I'm pretty blown away at how big these canes have gotten this season. You can see it's this one especially started out quite small, and it's actually overtaken the other dendrobium now as well. But they clearly very happy with whatever I'm doing at the moment, so they will be absolutely beautiful when they're in bloom with their multiple spikes. Just on this side we've got LC Tristar Bouquet. I didn't do very well with the spike. As you can see, this year I really was not expecting it to be so long. I had to bring it inside because it kept blowing over as well on the balcony. The blooms are just starting to fade. It is an absolutely stunning flower though. Not the greatest display. I will anticipate this next year. But yeah, it's just so tall and heavy. I'll need to figure out a way to spike this up so it's a bit more pretty next year. And we've got Bulbophyllum Elizabeth Ann Buckleberry. Look how cool that looks. I missed out on the blooming last year. It had opened up a little bit, but not opened fully before I left. So you can see it unfurling there. Very cool. But I only have 1 spike, and she is quite a big plant. So you can see she's sort of reaching the edge of the pot. I might actually try and repot and divide her this year, because for such a big plant to just have 1 spike, it would be nicer if it had a couple more directions of growth and another spike each year. Paf Yi Ying Green Coral, not long before this one opens up, and she'll be my first Mortier with an Alba type flower to bloom. We are in my foul grow space, which we've just recently seen, but I actually did this mass repotting yesterday. I don't know what got into me. I found a couple of oncidiums upstairs on the balcony that was sort of up the back wall, and there was a couple with like rotting pseudobulbs, so I had to repot them. And then I decided, well, I might as well repot some of the phals that need repotting, and then I found a couple more orchids, and I ended up repotting like 16 orchids yesterday. I ended up repotting the Paphiopedilums that I got from the orchid show a few weeks ago as well. A whole bunch of those phals that I said needed repotting in my last video. So we've got a few spikes. I showed them to you in the last video, so they've progressed a little bit. But what I did want to show you was Phal Allura Paradise, which has just opened up her first bloom. Now that I think about it, maybe I did show her to you in the same April Spikes video last year, and I'm pretty sure I'm about to say exactly the same thing, but I adore everything about this flower. Look at this bloom. I just love the shape, that little triangular shape, and the petals are so unique. I love the color. She is just an absolute beauty, and this year she's gonna put on a little show for us, so I'm very much looking forward to all those little buds opening up. And just before I take you guys outside, I already posted this on my community page, but look, I had a few sleepless nights on the weekend. I had a pretty intense work week last week, which I won't get into, but it did lead to a few sleepless nights, and well, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one, but I did a little bit of midnight online shopping for orchids, and I've got a few packages today. This is probably most of them, but I won't say it's all of the purchases I made. I did also buy a lot of new supplies from Orchid Den, so I'll be getting that soon as well, hopefully, and I'll be talking through a few of the projects I have. Actually, that middle package there, I think that's for the dogs. Yeah. Alright, we're definitely going outside now, but I just have to show you, these guys always share a bed together and they're just too cute. Oh my god, you guys, I am so pissed off. We were just talking about Dendrobium beetles up there, and look at what this stupid beetle has done to my Ascocenda spike. Can you see it's just destroying the buds? It's gonna die in just a second. Well, you guys, this is the damage that that little jerk did to my Ascocenda Sunrun Sunlight spike. Lucky this one blooms several times a year for me, but you can see they're called a Dendrobium beetle, but they eat all sorts of stuff, and they're very common in Australia. I don't know about other countries. They obviously do like dendrobium leaves as well. Once we get downstairs, I'll show you the sort of damage they do to dendrobium leaves. When you try and grab them, they do this thing where they kind of just let go and fall. They're very good at being evasive. If nothing else, you guys now know what Dendrobium beetles can do. Out here on the back deck, these are the two big oncidiums. They got repotted yesterday. It's a bit hard to see on my screen with the light, so hopefully you guys can see. But both of them had a rotting pseudobulb, and I must have missed how bad they were because I was sort of against one of the back walls, but I did notice this spike and that it was coming from what looks like an immature growth, which seems to be a little bit of a theme, but I also noticed that the leaves were looking a little bit worse for the wear and that there was rot on one of the back bulbs and it wasn't looking very good. You can see that those back bulbs are looking quite shriveled. Seems like it's blooming more as a sign of stress. They're now repotted. They've actually been put into some bleach and fungicide solution as well because one of them, I can't remember which one, had some scale on it as well. So hopefully they recover okay and are a bit happier now that they've been repotted. I did pick up a little spike starting to develop. Oh yep, I think that should be a spike developing on my Oncidisa Sweet Sugar, which was repotted back in late January. So that's good to see. Even though I did have a mass repotting yesterday and I am very much over repottings for a little bit, I have a feeling that I may need to repot my frags sooner rather than later because this frag cardinal is in spike, but it just seems like it's stalled. I haven't noticed much growth from this spike in the last week or so. I'm not sure what's going on there. Up on this shelf, we've got Ida Elizabeth Enchanting in bloom again. It was also in bloom not that long ago, and this is the one that I had trouble with the growths sort of getting stunted. You can see one that didn't develop there, but this growth seems to have developed really nice and strong. It's a nice big growth, and these blooms look much healthier than the last ones that came out. Big size blooms, about the size of my hand. She's an absolutely stunning cattleya, and this second bloom only just opened today. I haven't got a fragrance from this yet, but when she is fully developed and opened up, the fragrance on Ida Elizabeth Enchanting is just gorgeous. I mentioned in another recent video that the epidendrums are of course spiking, and I might actually start removing some of the more mature keikis with roots. I've got some keikis developing on my Den Bohemian Rhapsody as well, which I might remove. I'll show you what I've started doing with some of the keikis. Got my beautiful dendrobiums here. I told you this was going to be a random video, but I've got a couple of keikis sitting in here, and I might start cutting off a few of the other keikis as well. And I've just put them in a little bit of sphagnum down here, and hopefully they'll start to get a bit more humidity and growth around those roots, because up until now the keikis have just been relying on the mother plant. The roots haven't been doing very much, but my hope is to get quite a few of them together and give them away at some stage. Now we're just downstairs at the moment. Can you see how something has eaten away at these? I'm pretty confident that that is done by the Dendrobium beetle. See how it sort of leaves a bit of a patch there? That's been quite typical of the Dendrobium beetle, but unfortunately I haven't caught the one that's been eating the plant out here. And then I've got this epidendrum growing here, but there's all sorts of craziness going on up here. There's like jasmine intertwined with, can you see the keiki coming off the keiki of this epidendrum? Really difficult to see, but that keiki bloomed last year. That's the flower spike of that keiki. So I'm actually going to remove that at some stage, and also we'll put that in a giveaway. Very likely it won't happen till after the whole COVID thing dies down, whenever that may be. But actually, the reason I thought of a giveaway is because I am fast approaching the 5,000 subscriber mark. I feel like it wasn't very long ago that I reached 3,000, and all of a sudden now I'm nearly at 5,000 subscribers, which is a huge deal to me. Like, I am so grateful for you guys. You have been so supportive of my channel over the last couple of years. I want to do a giveaway that's kind of appropriate for all my international viewers as well, and considering how difficult it is to post things anyway from Australia, what I might do is set up some sort of giveaway where you guys can maybe pick a nursery and I can give away gift vouchers from a nursery of your choice. But anyway, definitely keep an eye out for that, because I will be posting on here when I reach the 5,000 subscriber milestone, and I'll be doing a giveaway. But I want to end this video by showing you guys my new Vanda that's just opened up. It was not open yesterday. This is Vanda Somsbury Glory Pink. Look at those beautiful flowers. Looks like something's had a little munch on that. She has not bloomed for me. I got her in bloom about 2 years ago, and I'm very happy to see her in bloom. Oh, you little... Okay, you know what I want to say. You know what I want to call this little thing, but I won't say it because it's too rude. I have got to start doing some research on how to eliminate these. Oh my god, Dendrobium beetles must die. Okay guys, well, I was hoping to end that video on a happy note, but now it's ending on a mission to kill. But if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more orchid videos. I hope you guys do have a great week. I am going to unbox some orchids and kill some Dendrobium beetles now. I'll see you next time. Bye.